Hey guys, it's Gabby. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing a book talk and book review for It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. This book is finally in stores. It's officially August 2nd, and yeah, this is one of my favorite books of all time.
You ever love somebody so much you can barely breathe when you're with them, you meet, and neither one of you even know it hit them.
Yeah, I got sent an art copy of this at the end of May. I was really surprised because then the publishers also sent me a finished copy of It Ends With Us, which is just awesome because now I have two copies, and this one is like, my arc is like completely like tabbed and highlighted and written in. This book, I think it's best honestly if you just jump into it not really knowing much about it. I mean, I jumped into this book knowing the bare minimum, which is that it follows this girl named Lily Bloom who lives in the city of Boston, and she falls in love with this neurosurgeon named Ryle, who is, you know, this super hot doctor and whatever, and then it's kind of a love triangle between her and Ryle and this guy from her past named Atlas, who was her first love. And so that's all I really knew going into this book, and I think that that's all you should know going into the book because it's such an emotional roller coaster of a book, and it deals with a lot of strong subject matter. This is like one of the most emotional books I've ever read. Throughout, especially through part 2, I was crying like nonstop, like the whole time. It was such a mess. Like, I don't think I've cried so hard reading a book since Forbidden, and like that says a lot, you know? I loved the beginning of Lily and Ryle's relationship in this. I thought that they were really cute and really easy to connect to and relate to. I loved their like naked truths that they would have with each other. Like, they would just be blatantly honest all the time. I loved how she would talk about how Ryle like is always in his scrubs and he has like the steadiest hands in Boston because he's like a neurosurgeon, and I just instantly fell in love with Ryle's character. I thought he was so awesome and sweet, and like Lily was such an awesome female protagonist. Like, she has so much history with her family. Her dad was abusive towards her mom, and as we follow along with Lily and Ryle's love story that's taking place in the present time, we do get flashbacks of Lily's teenagehood when she fell in love with this homeless boy named Atlas. Would write her diary entries to Ellen DeGeneres, so all of her diary entries would start Dear Ellen, which I thought was like so cute. Atlas is one of my all-time favorite male characters ever. Like, he's just so sweet and so humble and innocent, and he just like deserves all the best in the world. I freaking adore him like so much. To be honest, like the first couple like scenes with Atlas and Lily kind of reminded me of Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell, with the way that they would be like riding the bus together and stuff. Like, I don't know, I just got those kind of vibes, and the fact that Lily is a redhead just like Eleanor was also coincidental there. Just love how Lily would start to like take care of Atlas because he is like a homeless boy. Their interactions were so cute to read about, and I love them both so much. Their romance started off so innocently, and then it just grew into one of the most beautiful love stories I've ever read. I really did love all the first chapters with Ryle's character. The character Alyssa and her husband Marshall are two of my all-time favorite side characters. They're just very funny, very entertaining. All I can really say about this book without giving away spoilers is that it's so raw and heartbreaking and beautiful, and it's one of the most powerful stories I've ever read, and it honestly is so important. It's so important, and I think that everybody should read this book, even if you've never given Colleen Hoover's books a chance before, or if you have and you didn't like some of her past work. I would definitely recommend reading this one. It's just so emotionally powerful, and Colleen has said herself that this is the most personal book that she's written to date, and it definitely shows, and I'm so proud of Colleen Hoover for writing a book like this. And when some of these characters like finally collide, like all the stories are colliding, it's just so beautiful, and everything's written so beautifully and poetic, and like I definitely think that this book is going to speak volumes to young women everywhere, and it's definitely one of the most important books I've ever read, and this topic is very intense, and I just think everybody needs to read it. That's all I'm gonna say for the non-spoilery part of this, because I have a lot of things that I want to talk about with this book. And if you have read it, and we can talk about some of the spoilery things that I need to get off my chest. If you have not read it yet, then please do yourself a favor and go read this book, and then come back and we can talk about it together and fangirl and cry about it together because it's beautiful, okay? Warning! I'm gonna be jumping into some spoilery content. I had such a soft spot for Atlas because of the fact that he was homeless. I love the way their relationship just started off so innocently. Like, Lily would be asking him if he wanted to like come over just to like take a shower after school just so he could like be clean. Like, she was just taking care of him, and it was so cute. And I love the way she would like leave him food on the back porch of the vacant house next door that she knew he was staying at. And then like I love how later he would start to like stay at the house with her to watch Ellen every day after school with her, and that that kind of like became their thing. My heart almost died when he like got the flu. She like pretended she was sick that day so she could stay home and take care of him all day. And then like that day they watched Finding Nemo together, and she mentions how he like squeezes her hand when Dory says just keep swimming, and then that becomes like kind of their thing too, which I thought was also really cute. They had that scene where she was like planting the flowers. She likes planting because plants reward you based off of how well you treat them, kind of like human relationships and stuff. And then Atlas was kind of like, if plants are mistreated, they might end up hopeless and incapable of doing anything. You know, then she like points to the tree in the backyard and shows him that that tree grew all on its own, and that some people are strong enough and don't need anybody else to be successful and be strong. And I just thought that that was so beautiful. How he freaking like brought her all those gardening tools after he realized how much she like loves gardening. Even though he has like absolutely nothing, he still brings her these freaking gardening tools. Like, he's so cute and so sweet. Also, when he like finally like made her those cookies, and he like surprised her by showing her that he knows how to cook. That night was like so freaking intense when Lily, overhearing her parents fighting, and Atlas was like in the room with her, and then she went to go like check up on her mom, and she witnessed her dad like raping her mom, and Lily was just in complete shock, and she went to go like grab the kitchen knife because she was about to like take on her father and stuff, and then Atlas just came up behind her and like grabbed her so she couldn't. And then her mom like kind of like saw Lily and Atlas standing there. When they went back up to her room, she wasn't even like, her mom didn't even acknowledge the fact that Atlas was there. Like, this random boy was in her room, and she didn't even really like care. She was just like, please don't call the police, please don't tell anybody what you just saw, and like defending her dad. And it was just so sad, but I was really happy that Atlas was there for her in that moment, because that was fucking crazy. That was like really sad when Atlas finally said his uncle got in contact with him somehow and he was gonna be moving to Boston. Like, I was happy that he was gonna have a home, obviously, but like the fact that he was getting pulled away from Lily and moving so far, like, it was really sad. Really like loved the way that Atlas would talk about Boston. Like, he would always say it's like the greatest place in the world, and like Lily would notice how he slightly still has his little Boston accent, which I thought was so cute because I freaking love Boston accents. That final diary entry almost like crushed my soul. Her and Atlas are finally like having sex in her bed, and then her dad comes in and he's like wielding a bat, and he just goes and like crushes Atlas, and Atlas is like almost killed in the process because her dad is like such a fucking psycho. So sad. And that was like the last time they saw each other in like 9 years. My heart was like broken. So to jump into more about the story with like Ryle and Lily, kind of like predicted it that Alyssa was Ryle's sister. Kind of like saw that setup coming. I mean, I didn't mind it. I just like, I could see that coming from like a mile away. The bar scene when Alyssa finally announces that she's pregnant, which is like such a surprise because they thought that she wasn't going to be able to have kids, so that was like really sweet. I was really shocked to learn that like Ryle and Alyssa had an older brother that had died. You know, we later find out the reasons why. It was because like Ryle had accidentally killed him. Now he has these crazy blackouts, thinks he's a monster, and he has like anger issues because of it. Really fucking sad. The first scene when like Ryle hit Lily for the first time, I did not expect that at all. I had to reread that part like 3 times to make sure I was reading it right. I was like, did he just slam her into the wall? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, God, like, how could he do this to her? He knows her parents. He's always wanted to avoid that type of relationship because she watched her dad abuse her mom for so long. Like, I couldn't believe he would do that. I didn't think he was capable of doing something like that because he's a doctor, you know, like, he helps people, like, and like, he's been so sweet to her throughout the whole book, and I had fallen in love with his character. And I was just so like disgusted and like shocked and hurt. From that moment on, the tears were like nonstop throughout this book. Can't believe how genuine his apology was, and it almost had me believing that he wasn't gonna do that again and that he was really sorry. Oh God, no, like, this can't be happening to her. Scene when Atlas and Lily finally cross paths again in the restaurant. So intense. I was like screeching with giddiness because I love them both so much. Atlas and Ryle come face to face was so great. It was like perfect writing. That moment when Atlas just looks down at Ryle's hand and he sees like the mark on Lily's face, and he just puts it together, and like, oh man, Ryle has the fucking nerve to go up and say, oh, so this is the homeless boy you pity fucked? You fucking kidding me? Oh my God, Ryle like lost all my respect that moment. I was like, oh hell no, because Atlas was like my favorite at that point, and I was like, no. That next scene when Atlas like comes to her the next day to apologize about it, and he brings her the freaking Ellen DeGeneres book that's signed, and it says, Atlas says, just keep swimming, love Ellen DeGeneres, like to Lily, like best freaking gift ever for Lily. If Alice wasn't my favorite by that point, that definitely confirmed it. Lily decides kind of like on a whim to marry Ryle in Vegas, which I was actually really shocked by because that scene happens where Ryle like accidentally pushes Lily down the stairs and like just felt sick to my stomach, especially the way he claimed she just like fell. It was like so disgusting. The way he was just like asking her if she was hurt and checking on her, it was like he sounded more like a doctor than her husband, and he gets so jealous and like upset so fast. Like his anger issues are crazy. I couldn't freaking breathe. Ryle was like asking her about the newspaper that had Atlas's restaurant. The reason why he named his restaurant Bibbs is because it's better in Boston. Atlas said that it's like a tribute to someone he loves and cares about, and it's obviously to Lily, and she still has that like magnet on the fridge that says Bibbs or whatever, and Ryle just like loses his shit over it. Later that night, he actually like headbutted her like some kind of crazy animal. Like, I don't know why, I just never imagined that he would take it that far with her. Like, he actually headbutted her, knocked her out. Fuck, dude. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I was just in tears like the whole time. I couldn't believe it, and I couldn't believe Lily was still putting up with him after the whole stair incident. So sad to see her falling into the same pattern as her mom. She didn't have anywhere to go because his sister Alyssa had just given birth to their baby that night. Couldn't go to her mom because her mom didn't even know that Ryle was like abusing her. Ugh, it was just so sad. And so of course she just calls Atlas because she doesn't know what else to do. And of course Atlas is like so sweet and there for her. He knows it's her as soon as he answers the phone and hears her crying. Decides to take her to the hospital, but then he has to take her to a hospital that's not Ryle's hospital that he works at because she's afraid what his co-workers will think. It's like she's covering for him and making excuses and trying to protect him still. And I just thought that was really sad. Atlas takes her to the hospital, and then I love the scene, the way it's written so subtly. It just mentions that she's pregnant. The doctor's just like, oh well, we can't run x-rays on women that are pregnant, and she's just like, what? And Atlas is like, what? And everybody's like, what? And I was like, what? No! No, 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 no. Like, of course, she's pregnant. That's like the worst case scenario, you know? Atlas invites her back over to his house, and she's kind of gonna like stay with him for the next couple of days until she figures out what she needs to do. Love the irony and full circle of now she's staying at Atlas's house because she needs help the same way he needed help when he was younger. And the way he would write just keep swimming at the bottom of his notes, he would leave her like when he had to go to work at the restaurant, she was still at the house. It just, they're so cute. Still records them on his DVR, and they just sit there on the couch and like catch up on all the Ellen episodes. And then she decides that she wants to write a new diary entry to Ellen as an adult, and it's just like the most heartbreaking, beautiful diary entry ever. And I was like sobbing, and she's telling her, I'm in love with a man who abuses me and I don't know what to do about it. So sad, but at the same time, like, I could understand her. It was like this crazy empathy that I had for her and sympathy, and I just also thought it was so sad and powerful when she finally confessed to her mom and to Alyssa what was going on. The way Alyssa was just like, as your best friend, if you ever take him back, I will never talk to you again. Lily needed somebody like that in her life, you know? She needs someone like Alyssa who will be like, no, that's not okay what he's doing to you. Like, you deserve better than that. You know, the way that she had that deep conversation with her mom, like every time he's gonna push you just a little bit further than you're comfortable with, and then one day you're just gonna be like, oh, well, at least he only hit me today. At the end of the book, when she's getting close to delivering the baby, and they named the baby after Ryle's older brother, Emerson, and then during that scene, she like her daughter in her arms, and she realizes that she would never want her daughter to be in an abusive relationship like the way that she is now, thinking what kind of role model would she be for her daughter if she stayed with this guy. Immediately tells Ryle, like, in that moment, like, we're over, I'm getting a divorce. He's kind of like taken off guard, and she's just like, what would you do if our daughter came up to you and said, I'm being abused by my boyfriend? Like, what would you do? And then Ryle realizes like how terrible he's been to her. He says like he would tell their daughter to leave him immediately, and then Lily's like, yeah, exactly. Realizes that she's fallen into the same pattern as her mom, but she doesn't want to be that person, you know? Like, she doesn't want to be like her mom and feel trapped just because of having a kid with him. Like, that's not going to be the life she wants. So then she tells him, it ends with us. Like, this abusive relationship is a cycle, and it's a sick cycle, and it ends with us. That was just like the most powerful scene ever, and like the way it ties in with the book title was just so powerful and beautiful, and it made me cry so much. Obviously, I'm like, oh, I was crying now just talking about it. So proud of Lily, and in that moment I was just like, yes, Like, this book is so powerful and wonderful and will inspire people everywhere who are going through something like this. The final scene at the end with her and Atlas was like the best thing ever. Like, she tells him that the baby's middle name is Dory, which is so sweet because their thing is like Finding Nemo and Ellen DeGeneres and the Just Keep Swimming thing. Like, was freaking crying, and so ends with him saying, "You can stop swimming now, Lily. We finally reached the shore." What? And I just like cried for like 10 days. Atlas is so fucking cute. Like, he needed to be at a better place in his life for her. Like, Atlas is so cute, and he's so smart and mature and wise and just like perfect. He's like everything that Lily needs. He understands her better than anyone because he witnessed firsthand what she went through with her parent. And I loved the way part 1 ended with that quote, with a metaphor about the waves and people you meet, when she's like, imagine all the people you meet in your life. There are so many. They come in like waves, trickling in and out with the tide. Some waves are much bigger than others, and sometimes the waves bring with them things deep from the bottom of the sea, and they leave those things tossed onto the shore, imprints against the grains of sand that prove the waves had once been there long after the tide recedes. That was what Atlas was telling me when he said, "I love you." He was letting me know I was the biggest wave he'd ever come across, and I brought so much with me that my impressions would always be there, even when the tide rolled out. I just thought that was so beautiful. And then like the way later she's like, even though we might not be on the same wave anymore, we're still part of the same ocean. So beautiful. I was like, Author's note at the end about her own experience with this, because her dad had actually abused her mom in real life. Like, I was sobbing throughout her author's note, and I just can't believe that she had the guts to write something like this. So that is my full review of It Ends With Us. This book is definitely one of my top favorite books of the year and of all time. I finished this book in May, and I'm still thinking about it constantly every single day. Atlas is one of my favorite characters of all time. I know I keep saying this, but like, he really is. Like, I just love and adore him so much, and he's so pure and beautiful, and Lily is a freaking awesome protagonist. She's definitely my favorite female Colleen Hoover character by far. She's so strong, and I love that she's a successful businesswoman. Like, she followed her dreams. She opened the damn flower shop she always wanted to open. She is goals, okay? I love this book with everything in me. If you can't tell, I could talk about it all day. Have you read this book yet? What did you think about it? Please let me know your thoughts. Also, I did make a book playlist for this book of songs that I think fit this book very well, like lyric-wise. So I'll be putting a link in the description for the playlist I made for this if you want to check that out. And thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Just gonna stand there and watch me